Magic 5 tier list. Today we're doing tier 6 creatures, just the tier 6 ones. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about your favorite, least favorite tier 6 creatures and where I place them as well. And be sure to check out all of the previous tiers and the future ones as well. And the heroes and the towns and any other content, especially my dual mode series, which honestly has helped me do these updated, tier lists a whole lot better. Um, opened my eyes as well as everybody else's a little bit by watching those and seeing what creatures are actually bad and good for real, and not just what we kind of think. But anyway, let us get started with the Cavalier here for Haven. I know we're kind of always just going in order with these, but I have them written all down just for us to go. So extra damage per tile, plus high movement, high initiative, high damage, pretty decent health. I got to give it to A, and then I think just I got to put these ones into S. I think Cavaliers are definitely one of the best tier 6s in the game. They're just super strong. These two have a little bit of extra utility, whether it's healing and immune to frenzy or damaging the unit behind them, but still the extra damage per tile, so move them around a lot, do massive amount of damage, and pretty much overall still have a good amount of health there. Um, Pit Fiends, let's see. Honestly, I think I have to put both of these up into S2. I think they're super strong. Um, I I don't think so. This one is a caster, so it's kind of hard for me. It's like B and A area, um, but I think I'm gonna drop that one into B. I still might come back and put him up into A. It's definitely like B plus A minus area in there for just the stock pit fiend, but these ones, those fireballs are disgusting. And this one gets guaranteed kill for each attack or counter attack, so it's kind of like White's Death Touch, which we'll get to in a little bit. And we've seen a lot of that in the dual mode series as well, when a lot of fights. Um, but then the other one being um, magic proof and additional damage to larger stacks here with this Pit Fiend is very good as well. So just kind of more preference. I usually just like this one better, just because it's I like basically guaranteed stuff, you know. The other one is not bad, obviously still S tier, but that's just kind of my personal preference. But here with the Wraiths, this one I will put into I might, okay, the only reason why I'm putting him in B, now I am a Necropolis fan, I'll always be Team Necropolis, they're my favorite town in every game, and they were my first town, so they always will be, but Whites are base stock white right here, or Wraith, whatever you want to call him, either way, is not that great. He's decent, um, high initiative, high movement, decent, pretty mid attack and damage. But the only reason why, all that being pretty mid, um, he is undead. So the undead kind of, which, all of Necropolis is, so they all kind of have a boost, but, some other creatures have certain stuff. But I'll give him a B. Now, the other two, I think the Banshee I'm going to give to A, and then the White I'm going to give to S. So Banshee A, reasoning, hitting multiple units is great, but the amount that you're going to do that is not always often. Now still good, still, pretty like high-end mid and stats as far as attack and defense, and then obviously being undead is nice. But the harm touch here for the white or wraith, I always get them all mixed up, their actual name. But the harm touch going undone, having, you're in a big ass fight, they drop your wraiths or whites down to 1, and then they just stop attacking them. And that one can just go kill, one Cyclops, one Angel, harm touch every turn, and that shit goes unchecked. We've seen it so many times in this dual mode series where this harm touch just slowly destroys some high tier units one at a time because it's going untouched and you can't do anything. There's no retaliation, there's no nothing. I think as far as a tier 6 unit, the utility option that brings is arguably the best, one of the best for sure, if not the best utility or ability or whatever for a tier 6 unit, in my opinion. But enough of my Necropolis teams. Let's go over to Trents, who are fantastic. Pretty decent amount of damage, a little bit on the lower end, but they do have Entangle, which I think is huge. Definitely helps them keep everybody off of their backline Hunters and Druids, who's going to carry that team for sure. But still a very high amount of defense as well. Um, and honestly, pretty good movement and initiative, uh, being able to move a whole lot throughout the whole map as a large unit and as a tier 6 and a defensive unit still. So yeah, I honestly think that this one, okay, this is what I'm going to do, kind of with the whites as well. So that one, I'm going to put in B, very good unit. Honestly, God, yeah, oh, that's hard. Okay, we'll come back to where we want to put, exactly where we want to put these trends. This one, the yellow one, I gotta put into S. The entanglement, the enrage that you get, which this Trent gets enraged too, which if everybody doesn't know that when a friendly unit dies, they automatically get, your other units get enraged that have it. But this one gives defending, gives a defensive bonus, so stay back there, protect those hunters and druids, and it's only going to help you. This gray one though is immune to slow, but you can gain attack but lose defense and entangle, which I don't think is a good trade-off. So I gotta put this one in B2. Um, yeah, I think that's probably what I would do overall. Now I kind of want to, honestly, I would probably put maybe both of these up into A, probably because they deserve it. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I feel like the Trents are a little bit better than Pit Fiends and Whites by themselves, so that's what we'll go with. But still, very good tier 6 unit. Definitely one of the best in the game for sure. Shadow Witches, though, on the other hand, I would say Shadow Witches are... They're just bad, man. I think Shadow Witch is easily the worst tier 6 in the game. Um, yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at all these guys, the only one that I can kind of say that needs way more help um, is Rakashas. But while Rakashas aren't that great, they're definitely not Shadow Witch bad. So the only ones that, yeah, I'll give that one to C, and I'm gonna give that one to D2. This one can go invisible. I mean, you're gonna get what, like one hit while they're invisible and come back. What is it gonna do? Like, they just don't do anything. The casting is okay, and honestly, their defense is mid, and their attack is pretty mid too. Like they're just all bad. Like I don't have anything good to say about Shadow Witches, honestly. It's just super mid unit, and they do not help their team as much as a tier 6 should, or they don't do enough damage, or just anything. So speaking of Rakashas, They're not that bad. No enemy retaliation is nice. I do think that for Rakashas specifically in Academy and kind of with Jins, which I didn't really touch on last video as far as a tier list with Jins, is that they need a lot of help as far as artifacts to give them that umph, you know. Um, but you can miss one turn for more turns with this one, which is nice. You know, you just kind of want to play a little bit of defense for a minute with this one, and then this one's going to be great. Um, so I'll give that one an A. Um, again, I still don't really think that the attack and defense for Rakashas is super high, but I don't really think that they're super bad either. They're just kind of like, you basically have to have them go unchecked for them to be super devastating. Now, this one hitting multiple units for attack, it's hard because if they, minimum we're going A for this one. So if they don't have any artifacts, this is where I would keep them. If they do, I'd probably put this one into S. But hitting multiple people per an attack is nice. Having dash is nice. Um, but I don't know, like Rakashas just never impress me. They don't have a whole lot of attack. They don't have a whole lot of defense. Their movement and initiative is very good, but that's definitely the best part about the Rakashas. So I think I'm going to keep them in A and not move them any further than that, because I definitely don't think that they are as good as those S tier units are, but I think that they're pretty equal to who they are with up into the A tier right there. Thanes. Thanes have a shit ton of utility. With having the Storm Strike and then the other one being immune to fire and having all the flame shit here. And then the other one is either immune to air with Storm Strike. This one we're gonna go into S. I think that Shockwave and everything is huge. Um, I think we'll go B there and then A to that one. So the reason why I swatched these is just because I feel like no, I think I gotta put both of these. Just the amount of damage that they can output to groups of enemies or people near them, either way, is huge. And then having some casting abilities is massive. Their movement is good. Um, attack and defense naturally is kind of like pretty mid. I think they're a little bit more tanky than they are attacking, but the attacking has, so much utility with the, storm strikes and waves and flame waves and all of that, and having some natural immunities to some spells is pretty nice. This one I will leave down here though in B. I think the stock one is just nothing, too crazy for me to put them up in A to match them, but definitely bump them up into S tier there for me. Wyverns. I think Wyverns get a lot of hate as well. Now, while their defense isn't that great, and honestly their attack is a little mild as well, um, I think I'm gonna stick with. I think I'm gonna stick with putting them in S. I think minimum they're A for sure. So the reason why I'm putting them in S, one, every single turn they are regenerating their health. So they're going unchecked, they're gonna stay alive forever. And we've seen that in this dual mode series, especially with this one. Now while this one does not regen health every single turn, the fact that it can eat dead people and regain some health is fantastic. Everybody else is fighting them, they go and eat, and even if people are attacking them and they're eating, regaining that health back, they're going to stay alive, for as long as they can, to where the rest of the creatures will wipe them out. Um, being immune to blind, cool, alright, nothing crazy. But lightning breath also having a little bit of effect, playing some extra damage and hitting some extra units is great. And that's the same way that I felt for the poison here. 9 times out of 10, maybe not nine, but a lot of times, you're going to be facing units that, aren't undead or aren't, gargoyles and golems to where you can cause some poison damage. Now, it's not a lot, something crazy. It's nothing more than these stupid scouts that suck, but, extra hit points is extra hit points, and that shit adds up at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, I think restoring some health by eating some dead units, whether it's your own friendly units or enemy ones, I think it plays a huge factor if it goes unnoticed. Um, Now, again, I would say their attack and defense just naturally is pretty mid, and I do not think that they can be affected by the Blood Rage. I think they're actually the only units that can, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong, but I believe that to be the case. I might be misinforming you about that, but let me know down in the comments what you guys think, where you guys would place your favorite and least favorite tier 6 Heroes of Might and Magic creatures. And do not forget, like, subscribe, and we will see you guys for the tier 7s. And be sure to check out the heroes and the towns, and any other Heroes of Might and Magic content, like the dual mode series that I'm still currently doing and will be for a long while, even after this video. So stick around. See you soon.